The Denver Broncos and their wallets refuse to quit as Denver has signed defensive end Zach Allen from the Arizona Cardinals in one of several moves they have made today. 3-year, $45 million deal. What's the average on that, Sam? Do the math for me really quick right now. 15.25. I don't think that's an overpay. Draymond Jones probably looking for a bit more than that. Now, here's a quick disclaimer, though. This video is a bit of a hodgepodge because we had just finished filming a whole video about Alex Singleton and some other news and rumors from free agency, and then this dropped. So we're going to spend a couple minutes talking about Zach Allen. Then I'm going to throw it back to old Matthew before Zach Allen signed with the Broncos, and you're going to see old me go on nice, long, beautiful rants about how the Broncos are spending tons of money, and it's awesome, and then they spent more money. I thought they were done for the day. And then Zach Allen of $45 million, which, by the way, this pushes Denver over $200 million spent today. The Denver Broncos spent $200 million today. Let that sink in for a moment. Denver's ownership, quite literally, says spend all of our money, get the good players that you need to be successful. We are giving you the keys to the kingdom, George and Sean Payton. Let's look at Zach Allen's stats right now from the last 4 seasons with the Arizona Cardinals, his entire career. He's coming off a 5.5 sack performance, which I have been someone who has stood up here and said, I don't want to pay Draymond Jones too much money because he only has 6.5 sacks. 15.5 is probably a bit of a, I don't know, a big dick in the locker room moment, like we can do it, so why not pay it? But I think it might be on the higher end of a payday for Zach Allen. But he only played in 13 games. He suffered a hand injury, and he was really going in the right direction. He's gotten better every single season, so there's a lot of optimism about his next spot, wherever it may be. Now with the Denver Broncos, it's a bit of a rich pay grade, of a rich contract given out, but it's the Denver Broncos. They don't care. They are just giving everyone all the money possible because they can. So 3-year, $45.75 million. That comes out to just over $15 million a season. This is your Draymond Jones replacement. Sort of goes without saying, but yeah, Draymond Jones not coming back to Denver. So old me doesn't know that when you get there in like 10 or so minutes. So you can laugh at me for being a bit optimistic about that chance, but now it's a done deal. Wow, let's quickly run through the free agency tracker, and then I'll throw it back to my old self. Ben Powers, Jarrett Stidham, Mike McGlinchey. I expand on those later in the video. Corliss Waitman as well. We got some more free agency tracker news to look at here. We talked about Powers, 4-year, $52 million. Chris Manhertz, Alex Singleton. Super excited about Singleton coming back. And now Zach Allen to push Denver over $200 million spent today. So I'm going to throw it back to Matthew from like 20 minutes ago, right before the Zach Allen news broke. So we're going to travel back in time when Alex Singleton re-signed right now. YouTube does not allow me to swear in the first 8 seconds, so I'm going to wait 3 more seconds before I really describe how I feel about how the Broncos' first day in free agency went, because holy Santa Claus shit, did Denver back the truck up one time after another. Day 1 of NFL free agency appears to be wrapping up. Everyone's going to dial the phones down for just a minute, but wow. The Broncos absolutely killed it in the first day of free agency. We're going to hit on the Alex Singleton re-signing along with some other news and rumors. But if you are excited about the direction that Denver is heading in, Walton Penner, the new ownership group, hand up. When that announcement was made at like 10:30 at night over the summer, I don't think I fully appreciated the magnitude of what that would mean for days like this, when Denver just green lights George and Sean Payton and say, sign whoever you want. Money is nothing to us. We own Walmart. So if you're pumped about the direction the Broncos are going in, make sure to hit that sub button. But I do want to hit on this re-signing news because it's really exciting news in my opinion. Mike Kliss reporting that the Broncos are re-signing linebacker Alex Singleton on a 3-year, $18 million contract with $9 million guaranteed. The smiling tackling machine is back, and indeed he is back with his 163 tackles from last season. Shame on me for only calling him a special teamer when they signed him last offseason, because he would go on to lead the Broncos in tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 1 forced fumble, and one could make the argument the most consistent piece of this defense last season. A defense that saw injuries all across the field, but Singleton was standing there healthy and one of the best players on this defense. He is re-signing with Denver on a 3-year, $18 million deal, and I am very excited about this move. I think him and Josie Jewell are going to form a really good inside linebacker core for Denver. Jonas Griffith is a free agent. That was a guy we once built up for, a statue, but now it's Jewell and Singleton running the inside linebacker position, and those are 2 great run-stopping tackling machines. So let's recap some of the Broncos free agency moves thus far. Ben Powers was the first one, 4-year, $52 million. He's your new starting left guard. Adios, Dalton Reisner. Jarrett Stidham is going to be backing up Russell Wilson on a 2-year, $10 million deal. Mike McGlinchey gets the most money anyone's gotten so far today at $87.5 million, spread across 5 years, average of 17.5. I look at the Chiefs, who just paid Juwan Taylor, average right tackle, $80 million to be their left tackle. Couldn't be me. Corliss Waitman, he got tendered 1 year under $1 million. And then the most recent signings, tight end Chris Manhertz and linebacker Alex Singleton, 3-year, $18 million for Singleton. The Broncos, through 1 day of free agency, have spent a total of $173.5 million. Oh my God. Hello, Walton Penner money. This is fun. I think this is what it felt like when all the EPL teams started to get American owners and they just started buying all the good players because Denver simply has no concept of what money means. They are spending everything they have. It's like the ownership group watched Moneyball and got violently ill from the Oakland Athletics, and they're like, that's really dumb. We have money. Spend it on players, please, and make us good. And George Payton, he's got the coolest job in America right now. He gets paid to spend other people's money, and he gets to do it all he wants. So the Broncos in free agency, just through 1 day, 11 hours, give or take, from the starting point, have signed 6 players and have given out $173 million. They are the winners after the first day of free agency. 1, because they're having fun. 2, because they got great starters in Ben Powers and Mike McGlinchey and bringing back Alex Singleton. 3 awesome starters on this team. 2 new faces to help improve the offensive line, which is so desperately needed. So let's start breaking down more news and rumors. There was another signing. I kind of got swept away with the Alex Singleton signing, but tight end Chris Manhertz comes over. He is sort of like this year's Eric Tomlinson signing. If you remember that from last year, he is a run-blocking tight end. His career, 24 receptions, 255 yards. He did have a brief stint with the Saints. Longtime Jaguar, also with the Panthers, if memory serves correct. 2 touchdowns. Again, this is a run-blocking move. Along with Ben Powers and Mike McGlinchey, those are run-blocking players. What does this all signal? Denver wants to run the football next year, right? Russell Wilson letting it cook. These moves do not correlate to that. The only missing piece, though, is the actual running back. I don't know who it's going to be. Your guess could be as good as mine. David Montgomery's a name. Kareem Hunt has been rumored. Miles Sanders. I don't think Javonte Williams is going to be ready for at least half of next season. And even then, he'll probably be just a fraction of his usual self. So very excited to see what running back Denver gets in free agency and or the draft. They have signed a lot of players, but if you had to pick a favorite signing for Denver, who would it be? I'm going to go with Mike McGlinchey. Why? Because I called my shot. I called my shot over the weekend. I said Denver signs Mike McGlinchey in perfect NFL free agency plan. And a lot of people commented, this is clickbait. They're not going to sign Mike McGlinchey. I'm here for my victory lap. I am here for my victory lap. I put him on the thumbnail, and boom. He watched the video. He's like, that's a fucking awesome idea. Let's go to Denver, baby. All right, now let's get some free agency rumors here of players that might not be coming back. Draymond Jones. So the defensive tackle market was really interesting today. You saw guys like David Onyemata, Shai Tuttle, kind of lower-level defensive tackles, in my opinion, get a lot of money. So if you're Draymond Jones, you're probably sitting back sort of watching a lot of these other players like Javon Hargrave get $84 million and go, all right, now it's my turn to cash in. I want something in the neighborhood of $18, maybe even $19 million, which personally I think is an overpay for 6.5 sacks last year. I think he's an ascending player. He's a very popular free agent this year. But I just haven't seen the productivity through 4 seasons to warrant an $18-ish million contract. And I think Denver would agree because they didn't use the franchise tag on him. And that was worth about $19 million. Now, Benjamin Albright did report, or speculate rather, that it appears Cleveland is the leader in the clubhouse to land Draymond Jones. The Bears have already spent a lot of money. I know they were in on Draymond Jones. They still have more money to spend, but maybe they have spent all their money on big-ticketed items already. The Falcons were number 2 in cap space. They signed a player, David Onyemata from the Saints, so maybe they're kind of done on the defensive line. If a lot of other teams get their defensive tackle need filled elsewhere, maybe Draymond Jones goes, well, now I held out too long, and the market's sort of dying down, and Denver's offering me a competitive offer as the Arizona Cardinals or something. Yeah, I like the Broncos. I'll stay here for the same amount of money. I think that's really the only path Draymond Jones has to return to Denver. If all the other teams get their defensive tackles and there's no more money left to spend. And now he goes, maybe I waited too long and I'll have to take $16 million with the Broncos. That's my optimistic view for Broncos country wanting to see Draymond Jones return. I do want to hit on some trade rumors really quickly before we get on out of here. Dan Graziano from ESPN reported earlier today, sources with multiple teams believe the Broncos could trade a wide receiver. Denver has had talks with teams about Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, and KJ Hamler. Teams say the Broncos are asking high prices, not just dumping, but it's not out of the question one gets moved. I have long stated that Denver is not itching to trade away one of these receivers, but if the right offer comes for Cortland Sutton, I think they're going to really consider it. If an offer just comes in general for KJ Hamler, I think they'll absolutely consider it. And I think for Jerry Jeudy, they'd have to be blown away. He was their leading receiver last year in receptions, in yards, in touchdowns, and best of all, he really turned things up the second half of the season to get Broncos fans excited about what year number 3 could look like for Jerry Jeudy. So, with that being said, I think Cortland Sutton has a good chance of being traded, or year number 4 for Jerry Jeudy, whatever. But Hamler, if anyone wants to make an offer for him, I'm sure Denver will be more than willing to listen. Jeudy, I bet it's a first and more, and even then, they're going to be hard pushed because it has to be a good first-round pick, right? Not that the Chiefs would, but not Kansas City's 31st overall pick, right? Not a late first. They're looking maybe for something in the teens. That's probably the best you're going to get for Jeudy. So, those are the latest free agency news and rumors. I'm going to end you guys with this before I see you all probably tomorrow morning, but who knows? Maybe we'll get some more news happening overnight. Broncos country, enjoy having the richest owners in the NFL, and it's paying off right now.